Hello, I'm Lynette, coach, creative, and educator, and today I'm diving into a new collage piece and exploring layers and textures and unexpected combinations. Join me and let's see where the materials take us. And I'm starting these collages on board books. Here's Winnie the Pooh, and they're fairly thick pages. They don't really warp that much when paint and collage is put on. And whenever I start a collage, I'm not trying to make something perfect. I'm trying to explore, looking at the different pages, seeing what options I have in my stash. I really like some of these with the lines on them. Collage is a place where curiosity leads the way for me. And the materials, it may depend upon what mood I'm in the day, but the materials, they talk to me. The colors can talk to me certain days. Sometimes they whisper. Sometimes they don't talk at all. And that's okay. Then I do something else or go into something and get back into that zone of creativity. And as I lay down these first layers, you can almost say I'm setting a stage. It's like tuning an instrument before playing, just starting to get something on the page so it's not a blank page, and seeing what I think about it. Sometimes these may stay, sometimes they won't, but at least it's a start, and then I can react to them. Even in the beginning stages, I turn them around, see what they're like, and then I like to put them together and just create one stroke or maybe a few strokes that go over the whole section of them. And they'll be broken apart afterwards. They may be flipped around, but it gets me out of dealing with just the small individual pieces right now. And even though only one may come of this that I really like, I do usually, if I'm working on one piece, I will do a few more just so that I go back and forth between this one's not working. I think I'm going to take a look at this next one while I'm still in the creative flow. And I work with different pieces of paper. I look at what I have in my stash, what may work with what I already have on the page. Will this work for now? Maybe it'll work later. Do I like the colors of them? This is a translucent material. Maybe I'll use that afterwards. I may keep that in my mind, but I go through and I see what's available. Maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't. And I see collage, it's a metaphor for how we assemble our days. We can have small fragments of things happening during the day. We have layered decisions. We have unexpected intersections of when things are coming together and we have to make decisions, or we have to figure out how this is going to work. And none of us live in straight lines. We live in little, maybe you could even say scraps of time if you're relating it to collage. And we have bursts of inspiration as well, which are always so fun. And like collage, we also have the occasional mess, and we have to get out of that messy middle and continue on. And when I work like this with collage and just deciding on the papers to use and what's happening, I'm reminding myself that beauty doesn't come from a single big gesture. It comes from everything that's put together. And now I'm making some more decision on what's actually going to happen on here. I do like the marks that's happening on this paper. And I'm going to use that somehow. And usually if I'm working like this, I will take the same piece of paper or similar and put them on each one, so at least they have a cohesive look to it. And one of the things that I like to remind people is to give yourself permission to explore the painting, to explore just whatever you're doing without knowing the outcome, to experiment and to have fun, because you don't need to see the whole path to take the next step. And art teaches us this so gently. It rewards the little brave experiments that we do. We can get so excited about different things that we're trying, having little bits of joy throughout working on this. And those are the little wonderful rewards we get with working with art. And at times when I'm looking at these things, I will pause. And it's not because I'm stuck, though sometimes I am, but it's because I'm listening. What does the artwork want? Or maybe even what am I resisting? What don't I want to do? And what am I eager to do that maybe I should wait on? And I'm thinking this needs a little bit of texture with some paint. Not quite sold on it yet. So trying different things sparks inspiration. You can get those happy accidents, creating different textures. What if you just move the brush in a different way? One way, then the other. How does that look? Do you like it? One thing that I find that people can say to me is if they've made a decision or done a mark or done something, and they will think, oh, that decision now, it just ruins the whole piece. But honestly, half of my favorite decisions start as mistakes. So I want you to realize that there are no mistakes. It's always learning, experimenting, seeing what you like, what you don't like. And now I am loving this blue. It needed something else. It was looking a little bit, I was thinking boring. Boring's not quite the right word. But I almost love it when materials take over. Maybe when a scrap and paper suggests a direction that I didn't plan. In this case, it was a color that I wasn't expecting to use in this because I thought I was just going to use all neutrals. But somehow it was just feeling like this blue, this pop of blue, needed to come into the paintings. And almost like it demands to be part of the story. So I'm trying this out. Shifting the look of it, seeing what I think. Letting it tell me where it wants to land, almost. I like putting it on a white background because it just separates it, and I'm not looking at all of them at the same time. So I'll often do that and and just look at it and then bring them back together so that I'm working on them and just going back and forth. Now, this is again a time of I want to use that little squeeze bottle. And I like continuing lines. If something happens, if there's lines in something and I can do another layer over top to create depth within the piece, I love doing that. I quite like the negative space around this one. Now, I may be adding too much. Something about that blue is still coming back to me. And I'm trying out a little bit lighter, seeing what a little bit more blue looks like. And you're listening to what you're feeling. What emotion? Am I happy this is happening? Am I listening to the art piece? Am I listening to myself and my intuition and just going with, yes, I think I can do it, and having the confidence to do that? And that kind of listening to when you're doing art, that's not just an art skill. That's also a life skill, and it teaches us patience and openness, and also a surrender to let's see what happens, and having that confidence to know that what will happen, I will be able to handle it. I will be able to come up with a solution in art, or in life, I will be able to come up with a solution. And when I get towards the end of every piece, I like to ask myself, what's that unexpected option that happened? What's the thing that I didn't plan that came up into my paintings? Was it a mark? Was it a color in this? That's where the blue comes in these examples. It wasn't part of the idea at all, but sometimes that little late arrival is exactly what the piece needed. You can relate it. It's almost like when someone walks into a room at the last minute and then the whole conversation shifts. So that's what's happening here. The whole look of the piece is shifting just because I added this blue. And I started gently adding the blue at first and seeing how it changed the energy of the painting. And here's how they are now. I like to look at them with a white background, also with a black background, because they really pop with the black. And finishing a collage, it's never about perfection for me. It's about feeling that moment where the piece, it simply says, that's enough. And then I step back. Although that doesn't mean that that's the final thing. I may look at it for a week or so and then go, oh, it needs a little bit more. I have done that quite a bit. And if you're watching this, because you're creating too, give yourself space and trust your instincts and let your materials surprise you. Creativity, it's really just a series of small yeses. And thank you for spending this creative time with me. I hope you feel inspired to play a little. Feel free to like the video and share it with friends, and subscribe for more. You can also visit my website and sign up for my Creative Insights newsletter. And please contact me if you want more creativity workshops, or inspirational chats, or coaching sessions that move you forward. Thanks for being here. See you next time.